In 2010, we took soft foam helmets from every brand, including S1, into the testing lab and discovered that every single one of them failed current helmet safety standards. This is a soft foam helmet. It has a hard plastic outer shell and soft foam inserts. The problem with soft foam helmets is that impact energy travels directly through these helmets and rattles the brain. Soft foam helmets do not pass high impact or multiple impact certification tests. After learning this information, we set out to make a better, safer helmet. What we created was the S1 Lifer helmet with fusion foam. We make fusion foam by blending low, medium, and high density beads together to make our impact reducing inner foam mold. The inner foam mold is what does all the impact dispersion in the S1 Lifer helmet. We batch test every production run of helmets to ensure the quality and consistency of every S1 Lifer helmet made. Get a Lifer, be a Lifer.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware, so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer visor helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
S1 Helmets has raised the bar for helmet quality and safety. We batch test every production run of S1 Lifer helmets to ensure the consistency and reliability of quality we have set for an S1 Lifer helmet. The S1 Lifer helmet is tested to make sure that the fusion foam is soft enough to diffuse energy to the head in multiple low force impacts and dense enough to distribute energy away from the head in high impacts. Every S1 Lifer helmet is certified under the CPSC and ASTM safety standards for single and multiple impact hits, which makes them up to 5 times safer than traditional soft foam helmets. S1 Helmets is dedicated to making high quality, safer helmets that look and fit great, and that you know will perform when you need them to. We are not required to batch test every run of S1 Lifer helmets made, but we do so for our peace of mind and yours. Quality counts. Get a Lifer, be a Lifer.
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough, military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high rebound memory foam which absorbs shock and molds to your knee on impact, stabilizing the knee, helping to prevent slippage. Our kneecap has a flat surface that supports stability on impact and is made with a high abrasion polycarbonate plastic for durability. The S1 Pro knee pad, stability, durability, functionality.
We have just seen the jam ref indicate a star pass has undertaken. And that first jam is over, folks.
The first jam is always the worst, isn't it?
Weird, right?
Turn the music down.
Yes, music all the way down. And if you can hold the mic as close to your mouth as possible without getting lipstick on them, basically. Thank you.
Thank you. Heading into jam 2, we are looking at Gin for VRDL, 2-3.
And we've got Namazoom for the West Coast Evils.
Jam is on, heading into turn 1, and VRDL have picked up lead.
Much louder. I think you're trying to talk to the refs in the middle.
West Coast Evils still fighting to make their initial pass through that pack.
That tripod set up at the back. Namazoom is still fighting out the front.
Pack call has our blockers scrambling back towards the VRDL jammer, who is doing a glorious spin, calls it off. Got to be happy to have picked up 3 points there.
So 7 for the jam.
We're heading into Jam 3 with Victorian Roller Derby League on 15 points. Perth Roller Derby still on donuts, waiting to get some points on the board there.
Fatality again for West Coast Evils.
Vanessa Shredgrave jamming for VRDL.
Ooh.
A big hit out on Biceptual.
And that's lead for Vanessa Shredgrave.
VRDL pivot in the bin for what I believe was a pack destruction. Fatality has made initial.
VRDL strategically waiting as late as possible to call that one off.
Jamie Dodger jamming for West Coast Evils. Pavey Wavy
Pavey Wavy is stuck
on the
at the back.
All-Stars. And that crowd going wild is celebrating lead for Perth Roller Derby.
Oh,
Sadly, no points for Perth on that one, but a beautiful call off, keeping points from Vic Roller Derby at the same time, and that's what you want to do. If you can't have points, you may as well keep the other team from getting any.
yes. Getting that first lead is a little bit of a hurdle to get over. They've done it now. Let's see what they can do with it. We've got Gin and Jukes on the line for VRDL.
Coma Toast jamming for West Coast Evils.
West Coast Evils doing a really good switch to O there.
Particularly with one blocker down, so they don't have a full lineup on track.
Doing a very good job at springing their jammer.
Absolutely. Very swift call upon picking up 2 points there by VRDL.
If you can be talking like this, that would be great.
Thanks for your patience with us, folks at home. We're working through our sound challenges, the sound being coming from the humans commentating. Apologies.
We're trying our best here.
You are looking at Jam 6 with Fatality jamming for Evils.
And West Coast Evils have 4 on defense.
VRDL light on with one of our blockers, one of their blockers in the box, fulfilling a penalty. Now with the full lineup. Oh, apologies. We've seen another penalty on a VRDL blocker. Fatality just sailing straight through that pack.
There was a star pass for VRDL there. We've now got Barry with the star.
Both jammers at the back of the pack struggling, trying to find some sort of fresh air to get themselves through. But those blockers not giving much of anything.
VRDL so strong on their tripods.
But our lead jammer for this jam, Fatality, making their way around the track.
Oh, big hit out on Barry there.
And a beautiful long drawback on Fatality.
Nice little spin on the inside from Barry.
And a nice...
That was a very good catch from Biceptual to keep Locomotives from getting out the front.
No initial there for West Coast Evils.
And just 2 points for VRDL.
Namazoom jamming for West Coast Evils. Jin and Dukes Haley taking a glorious whip off one of their teammates and bringing in lead.
Tiptoeing in the line to get out there.
Thorson reporting to the bin for West Coast Evils. Massive hit on Tio and a very graceful recovery as Jin calls off that jam. We've just had a direction penalty on a Perth blocker. They're reporting to the penalty box now. And a massive drawback on Pavey Wavy, who's decided, I don't want to go back, only forward, and they call that jam.
Nice job from Storm there to keep Pavey from getting out.
Vanessa Shredgraves for Victoria lining up on our S1 jammer line. Fatality skating for Perth for this jam.
Currently 42 for Victorian and 7 for Perth.
Big distance between the sort of suite of blockers for each team. And Perth doing an impressive job having one of their blockers in the box there. But Vanessa Shredgrave pushing out the front, picking up lead. Full complement of blockers back on track now for both teams. We've just heard a cart track on a blocker.
It's the pivot from Victorian, lethal. Ooh. A lovely little one-footed glide around the outside from Vanessa Shredgrave there.
Fatality has passed that star to Wills McCoy, who is now your jammer for Evils. Big bean dip by Shreds, collecting those points. If I knew what both teams were shouting, I would tell you. But what I know is that Victoria has called that jam.
12-point jam. And Victorian are starting with their pivot in the box. with Gin and Jukes on the line.
Comatose jamming for Perth. And a massive kerfuffle at the start there. Both teams lining up. Big shuffle from both teams as they change strategy last minute. Comatose struck by lightning and just fanging it out the front of the pack, picking up lead. But Gin close on the
it's
tail.
a jammer fight. It's always
Better jammer rivalry.
exciting to see a little bit of jammer defense there.
Oh, absolutely. Boop doing a nice big drawback on Victoria jammer Haley. I apologize, I used a civilian name. I meant to say on Victorian jammer Gin.
Ooh, a little bit of a hit there.
Comatose just, making in for some defense while they can. And calling. Using that advantage of that lead and just ending it.
4 more points for Perth and 8 points on that jam for Victorian.
I believe I left you hanging at 4-6, Jamie Dodger skating for Evils, 5-6, Boop, 5-8, Crane, 5-8-5, Logie, 6-0-6-0, Cooper, 6-9, Comatose, 7, Tio, 8-6, Namazoom, 8-8, Thorson. This jam is on. Locomotives jamming for Evils, Pavey jamming for Victoria. Big no pack call, so we've got blockers scrambling to get that pack back together.
I feel Perth are doing a really good job on a quick switch to offense after the Victorian jammer gets out.
Absolutely. I mean, Pavey just making it look easy. Classic Pavey move there.
Always looks easy.
And a big call.
We are almost halfway through the first half. And the current score is Victorian 70, Perth Roller Derby 11. We've got Namazoom on the line again against Vanessa Shredgrave.
That's a forearm penalty called on Victoria Blocker 6. That's Mods, Modern Warfare. A big drawback there on Namazoom, but a no pack call. Had the Victoria Blockers rushing up, maintain that pack.
Shred's just pushing at the front. But a good hit out by Boop and drawing Shredgrave all the way back.
Perth using that opportunity to hit out that Victoria jammer. Bit of swift offense on the way back.
Namazoom is out, but not lead because they took off the star cover. So we're going to have a 2-minute jam here, people. And there's also been a star pass to Barry for Victorian.
Bit of a leap, hoping to stay in, but Barry has gone out. Back on track now. A lot of recycling for both jammers in this jam.
The defense. We've got not a lot of time left on the jam.
We have now had Victoria make their initial pass.
The pivot for Perth is off on a back block. And Barry is coming back around. Do we have enough time for more points?
A nice big juke there. Lining up on the in, swiftly to the out, collecting those points for Victoria.
That looked like a tough jam.
2-minute jams are just something else. At this point, we would like to reintroduce ourselves. I am Mad Max Fury Roll. I'm at VRDL.
And I'm Quinby, also with VRDL.
We are commentators for this very exciting game. We're so privileged to have Perth skating with us on VRDL home ground.
And this is the last game of the weekend of the Tri-State Showdown.
Jammy Dodger, very, very light on their feet. Going up against a very tough Victoria wall, but in the meantime, a big hit done on Gin and Jukes, who was drawn back, but who has now picked up lead for Victoria.
Just tiptoeing all the way around those lines, Gin and Jukes.
We've had a star pass for the Evils. Your
To
new
Boop.
jammer is Boop. Bit of a wardrobe malfunction on track. There's a lot of helmet covers to take care of when you become a jammer out of nowhere as a pivot.
Yeah. I sometimes end up having 2 pivot covers on because I forget them already wearing one.
Right, you know, it's a mystery how it happens. And you're like, please don't give me a 3rd helmet cover, I don't want to jam. We have just wrapped Jam 14, and our score, we've got Perth Roller Derby sitting on 15, Victorian Roller Derby League on 80. Heading in fast and furious to Jam 15, lead called for Victoria with Pavey as your jammer. Comatose. Jinx.
Too many of those so far. Jinx.
Oh, yeah,
Do
yeah.
I say Jinx back?
Yeah, well, no, I jinxed you. Who knows? But Comatose jamming for Perth and struggling to get out. But, you know, the Victoria blockers have gotten fewer by number on track. And we have seen a gorgeous star pass by the Evils.
So quick.
And a successful skip and a hop
Yes.
by Boop, who has the pivot. Now
That
your
is
jammer.
2 jams in a row that Boop has taken the star.
Absolutely. They, again, wardrobe not a fun time, but becoming the jammer out of nowhere, evading big hits by Barry, all done beautifully.
You know, quality elastic is absolutely required for those helmet covers.
And hard to come by, apparently.
As soon as I touch one, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I don't like this one.
Perth Roller Derby calling for a team timeout.
We've got 10 minutes and 17 seconds left on the clock. This is an excellent time to say thank you to our officials.
Of whom there are many,
Many.
and with whom we could not do this amazing sport that we love so much.
I think we've got about 30 officials here this weekend.
Let's shout out to our Cam Timer campaign.
Cam timer.
Cam Timer, Jam Timer.
You must have seen them all weekend long on the live stream doing the little dances on the pivot line.
Free entertainment, folks. Free mid-lineup entertainment? Yeah.
But also, of course, all of our skating officials, our refs, and we've got the scoreboard operator and scorekeepers and penalty box timers. Lots.
Lots. It's a big task. Chess on wheels, there's just so many moving pieces, right? I'd love to use this opportunity to shout out to Cooper on track for West Coast Evils. I can see Wills McCoy. I believe that's Crane.
And Thorson as well on the line as a blocker.
Logie playing for Evils, currently in the box, keeping Modern Warfare company.
And that's a cut for Thorson, the Perth pivot.
We do not have a lead jammer yet for this jam. Multiplayer being called on. Wheels McCoy. This is tough for that Perth jammer who now has no friends on track.
Cooper,
One friend on track.
only blocker on the track. That is never a fun time.
You really learn what you're made of when you're the last blocker on track, because you're facing off against 5 incredibly strong people.
Absolutely.
Victoria taking the most of that, sort of chaos that ensued in that jam there. pick up lead, get your points, call it off. And no initial for Perth on that jam. So we'll be heading into Jam 17 with Perth Roller Derby sitting on 15. Victorian Roller Derby sitting on 95.
We've got Gin and Jukes as the jammer for Victorian.
Namazoom.
No.
No.
Locomotives.
Haha,
Perth.
that was a trick.
Oh.
Locomotives stuck at the back, but meanwhile, Gin and Jukes just dominating that outside line to pick up lead.
That was beautiful coordinated offense from Perth, but the Victorian pack just formed right back around them.
A bit of a tango there between the Perth blockers and Gin and Jukes as they hit them off. Gin and Jukes back on, back off. You really have to pay attention to the cue when you're playing roller derby. No cutsies. This is a very intimate pack. Blockers on blockers on blockers, and just such a grind for both jammers.
It definitely looks like a very scrappy, very physical game.
Gin and Jukes earning that Jukes part of their name. Some very tricky sidestepping right there, and a call off, taking home 4 points for that pass. Jam 17 ending with Victorian Roller Derby League on 99, Perth Roller Derby on 15. This time lining up, Namazoom.
Now Namazoom.
Now Namazoom, watch them skate.
Against Pavey.
Against Pavey.
Straight through that inside line. And now straight through on the outside line.
Straight from the outside.
It was
That was
ver-
like the preparation by Perth to take a big hit. We saw Jigglytuff, that offense there for Victoria, claim that outside.
very passive offense, not a big hit, just
Yeah.
holding the Perth wall where they were so that it left the outside open for Pavey. Namazoom not having a good time this jam.
Wow, a little bit of a, like, I want to be able to describe that to you in case you didn't see it. In which Pavey Wavy kind of teleported around the outside of the track, balancing on one of their blockers and then back in.
Derby is entertaining, but you always get a little bit of an extra show when Pavey's on the track.
Just add that little bit of space. Yes, good.
There was a star pass in that last jam for Perth. They're making very good strategic use of that.
Official timeout.
Just a quick little check there for the officials. Don't know what about.
Not enough time to name the blockers who are on track now. If my brain worked 20 times faster, I would be naming them every time. But the most I can offer now is that you are watching Gin and Jukes, jam for Victoria. About to get sucked right back.
That
Fatality picking up a bit of swift offense.
it is a power jam for Perth right now because Gin and Jukes went off for a back block.
This will be
A 2-minute jam.
This will be a 2-minute jam.
Fatality took the cover off, didn't realize that Gin and Jukes had actually gone to the box instead of getting lead.
So between forfeiting lead via a penalty, forfeiting lead via removing the star, this is a 2-minute jam.
And Gin and Jukes. Gin and Jukes is back on the track now.
All eyes were on
Ooh.
Fatality for a moment there. With all of their blockers, defense for Fatality, all Victoria, offense against them. And Gin and Jukes just working that inside line, collecting points, few beautiful hit outs that we're seeing blocker on blocker.
Oh, Fatality, you can't call it off.
It's a sad, sad moment when you're in a 2-minute jam and you're like, let's end this now, and you can't. Gin and Duke's working 9 to 5 just on that daily grind, trying to get out the front of that engagement zone. It's unsuccessful, dragged all the way back to the back of the backward engagement zone. My words fail me, I'm so excited.
I have to say, I am very impressed by Perth's offense. It just doesn't seem to be quite enough in some cases.
Looks like we've seen a back block on a Victorian blocker there. Two of them reporting to the box at the same time.
And there's the 2-minute jam. Everyone looks a little bit tired after that one. We've got the Victorian Pivot Lethal and also Larage in the box to start for this jam.
Which is a nice advantage for the West Coast Evils.
Let's see if they can make use of it.
Comatose is not here to mess around and find out. They are just slamming into the two Victorian blockers that are on track and picking up lead.
Every time that Perth gets lead, this place absolutely erupts.
Victoria's jammer is out. Evils have picked up their first 4 points for this jam. Let's see what else they're going to do with it.
Towing along the line was Comatose.
Especially now that we've got the full suite of Victoria blockers back on track, using that engagement zone to collect the jammer. But swift footwork has them moving to the front of the pack.
Lethal and Larage did very well there. They came out of the box almost exactly at the same time and set a 2-wall at the back.
I'm kind of convinced that Derby players at this level actually are just an ecosystem with the way that they are just, you don't know when one blocker ends and the other begins.
They're so tuned in together.
Comatose is lead jammer for this jam. And they have just lost one of their blockers on track. I believe it sounded like a high block called there on Cooper. The pack stuck on the apex there. Pavey making light work of that inside line. Comatose
Still slogging it out.
Still slogging, yes. This was their jam at the start. Things have gotten rather tricky and gnarly for them there with one fewer blocker on track with them.
The offense there from Victorian actually knocked Pavey out as well.
And a call there.
8 points on the board for that jam from Perth and 11 from Victorian. We've got a minute and a half left for this half.
More Derby, more Derby. Oh, fine, we'll have an intermission, but more Derby.
Yeah, all the Derby.
All the Derby all the time.
Vanessa Shredgrave on the line for Victorian. And Jamie Dodger for Perth.
Vanessa Shredgrave just very, very swiftly picking up that lead. I blinked and next second that they were lead. Big drawback on Jamie Dodger. Making our outside pack refs, who we value so much, really work this game. Shredgrave's just doing a beautiful sort of pivot point off one of those blockers there to stay inbounds, collect their points.
We've got 2 blockers in the box for Perth.
And a big bean dip by Shredgraves, just picking up those 4 points, making it easy. Oh, absolutely beautiful hit out by Boop, who unfortunately went out themselves, so no drawback opportunities there. But they were back on a defense real quick. Meanwhile, Victoria just absolutely pinning down that jammer. And what was a star pass was very quickly intercepted by Biceptual.
Boop with the star again and just takes off the pivot cover. Says, I don't need that anymore.
No more time. No one's gonna see it. Who needs it?
And just officials are doing a final check before we're expecting this rolling whistle for halftime.
We will enter the second half. That's our whistle. We will enter the second half with Perth Roller Derby on 27 points, Victorian Roller Derby League on 148 points. We will catch you in 14 and a half minutes, folks.
In 2010, we took soft foam helmets from every brand, including S1, into the testing lab and discovered that every single one of them failed current helmet safety standards. This is a soft foam helmet. It has a hard plastic outer shell and soft foam inserts. The problem with soft foam helmets is that impact energy travels directly through these helmets and rattles the brain. Soft foam helmets do not pass high impact or multiple impact certification tests. After learning this information, we set out to make a better, safer helmet. What we created was the S1 Lifer helmet with fusion foam. We make fusion foam by blending low, medium, and high density beads together to make our impact reducing inner foam mold. The inner foam mold is what does all the impact dispersion in the S1 Lifer helmet. We batch test every production run of helmets to ensure the quality and consistency of every S1 Lifer helmet made. Get a lifer, be a lifer.
This is the totally redesigned Lifer visor helmet from S1. Featuring our patented fusion foam, this helmet has the impact protection you've come to expect from an S1 helmet and is both multiple impact and high impact certified. Our new custom visor is made with a high impact polycarbonate lens, which is optically correct and features our patented cover catcher, which allows for multiple covers to be worn with easy on-off. The outside lens has an anti-scratch coating, while the inside has an anti-fog coating. The outer shell is equipped with in-mold mounting hardware, so that the visor can be removed and replaced if needed. The S1 Lifer visor helmet, where innovation and function are actualized.
S1 Helmets has raised the bar for helmet quality and safety. We batch test every production run of S1 Lifer helmets to ensure the consistency and reliability of quality we have set for an S1 Lifer helmet. The S1 Lifer helmet is tested to make sure that the fusion foam is soft enough to diffuse energy to the head in multiple low force impacts and dense enough to distribute energy away from the head in high impacts. Every S1 Lifer helmet is certified under the CPSC and ASTM safety standards for single and multiple impact hits, which makes them up to 5 times safer than traditional soft foam helmets. S1 Helmets is dedicated to making high quality, safer helmets that look and fit great, and that you know will perform when you need them to. We are not required to batch test every run of S1 Lifer helmets made, but we do so for our peace of mind and yours. Quality counts. Get a lifer, be a lifer.
The S1 Pro knee pad is built to last and perform, blending highly durable fabrics and materials into an innovative design with exceptional craftsmanship. We use a very tough military-grade ballistic nylon for the outer shell material. We triple stitched every seam to prevent blowouts and reinforced all of the straps with additional stitching. Our top straps are made with a high retention elastic that minimizes excessive stretching and incorporates a length adjustment system to to allow you to lengthen or shorten the top strap. The inner knee cup mold is streamlined and deep fitting and features a 4-tiered foam system combining varying densities of foam with shock dispersing foam to achieve both shock reduction and comfort on impact. The inner foam layer is a high rebound memory foam which absorbs shock and molds to your knee on impact, stabilizing the knee, helping to prevent slippage. Our kneecap has a flat surface that supports stability on impact and is made with a high abrasion polycarbonate plastic for durability. The S1 Pro knee pad: stability, durability, functionality.
And we're back for the second half of Perth Roller Derby versus Victorian Roller Derby at the Tri-State Showdown.
This half is starting with Perth Roller Derby on 27 points, Victorian Roller Derby League on 148.
Skaters making their way onto the track now.
Jamming for Victoria is Pavey Wavy.
Hi, Pavey.
Hi, Pavey. And
Comatose for Victoria. Victoria for Perth.
Comatose skating for Perth. That's that end halftime whistle, folks. Derby is about to derby.
Do the derby.
Do the derby. Swift rearrangement on that 5-second call. Pavey picks up lead almost immediately. Comatose is on initial, fighting their way through the pack. That's a very, very sticky, slow wall there by Victoria. Got Barry bisexual, slammers on, and Jigglytuff just making hard work for Perth.
And that's another quick star pass to Boop. All of the star passes for Boop.
Boop, it is not their day for any kind of helmet cover.
How do we solve this?
I don't know, I really want to workshop it for Boop. Their skating, their star pass is gorgeous, but just helmet covers is not their thing today, I think. We are starting this jam with Peacock in the box, serving time for a penalty. Feeling bad about it, we can tell, don't worry. They repent.
We know those feels. We've got Namazoom for Perth Roller Derby.
Jamie Dodger skating for Perth.
46 versus 86. I picked the wrong one.
Well, we got to keep the audience on their toes. Nice bit of offense by Modern Warfare there for Hayley, but that Perth wall staying very, very nicely together. And Hayley just, I think they have, their legs are so long that you just can't, they kind of bend time and space to just step past blockers and pick up points. Star pass for West Coast Eagles there. Thorson is now your jammer, and they are working hard to get out the front of the pack. Not quite successful with that whistle called.
But still successful in making Victorian call the jam off.
So much of the game that you're seeing here, folks, a lot of what's happening are that choices are being made by the beautiful benchies for each team. They survey all of the plays that are going on, what strengths and weaknesses are working for or against them on the track at any time, and making calls for their skaters to respond to so they can play the most strategic game they can. Shreds making short work of picking up lead for Victoria.
Namazoom fighting that tripod at the front.
Hop and a step, and they've picked up more points. And a directional being called on a Perth blocker who is now reporting to the box. Beautiful jump by Shreds. Trying to claim those points, but accidentally going out. And we are seeing Barry report to the box as well. That means both walls are playing Derby light, 3 blockers each. And Perth having now made it through initial. Victoria making the decision to call that off just as Namazoom is getting close to that back of that pack. No points for them.
172 for Victorian, and Perth is now on 27. One blocker from each team currently in the box, but standing. So 10 seconds or less for each of them, and we'll be full pack on the track.
So we'll see what Fatality for Evils and Pavey for Victoria do with that, with fewer helpers but fewer blockers to go up against as well.
The Perth tripod is doing a very good job of reforming around that offense. Pavey having to fight for every foot.
Victoria has lead for this gem. And that's another penalty on Barry, who's reporting to the box. Great bit of hitting out, drawing back by Victoria on the Perth jammer.
Lovely little offense for Modern Warfare, and some classic spin moves from Pavey.
That's a direction on Perth blocker Logie.
And Fatality out the pack.
Quickly donning the star, ready to claim as many points as they can. Which looks like a 0 as Pavey has just called that jam off.
That was a perfect example of our bench crews doing their job, telling the team to be up the front and when to call it off. But they also manage our lineups. Who's on the track? Derby can be very chaotic. It would be even more chaotic without our benchies.
We love you, benchies. We are heading into Jam 5 with Gin and Duke skating for Victoria, Comatose skating for Evils. Gin and Duke's picking up lead. Comatose very close out the front.
I'm always impressed when a blocker does a leap like Barry just did.
Big, quick defense by Evils, who are down one blocker at the side of this jam.
But now back on the track, full complement of blockers for each team.
We have just seen a star pass. We've solved the problem. Boop is your jammer, and they have stowed the pivot helmet cover under their uniform. No more flinging the helmet cover.
That's why I wear shorts with
pockets. It has pockets.
It has pockets. 2 pockets. Keep my chapstick. Helmet cover.
Bisexual shorts have pockets. Well, they
no
don't.
pockets for
Well, where are you-
bisexual. Padding.
Oh.
Extra hips for bisexual.
Team timeout for West Coast Evils.
Oh, Jigglytuff has pockets. Who else has pockets?
Hands up if you have pockets. Yeah, let's hear it for pockets.
We had a request for music during timeouts from our jam timer. I remembered Cam.
Cam is just made of rhythm, but she did want everyone else to be able to hear the rhythm as well.
It is a team timeout for Perth right now. Just having a little breather. Vanessa Shredgrave on the jam line.
Close call for false start there with Shredgraves
And
doing a
Locomotives
cheeky
for
little
Perth.
tap on the track there. But no matter, they are lead now. Victoria lead for this jam. Locomotives facing a very strong Victoria wall made up of Barry, Bisexual and Slammers on.
But Shredgrave also stuck in a lovely tripod from Perth with Wheels McCoy.
We've got 4 Perth blockers up the front. So it looks like they're all on defense right now, just trying to lock it down.
Teo
Stop
and
Victoria
Dorson
collecting
as well.
points. What was almost a clear pass for Shreds has turned into a drawback there by Wheels McCoy. Pivot for Evils. This is the grind.
Oh.
This is the derby grind.
This is the sad place. For the jammers, at least.
The Jammers' sad place.
Two extremely strong walls right now.
Very quick return by Slamazon to do some very powerful O for shreds, and it's worked. Vanessa Shredgravy's out, collected their points, and quick as you like, Victoria have reformed back onto defense. Back to sad place for Locomotives.
Calls from both benches for strategy.
Big face-up up front by Bisexual and Locomotives.
And
All sorts of code words coming from the bench that I don't know the meaning of, but think the derby is derbying. And Shreds has made the call, ending that jam there.
Some great defense from both teams on that jam.
We've finished Jam 6 with Perth Roller Derby on 27 points, Victorian Roller Derby League on 190 points. Jamie Dodger taking the line for Perth. Pavey Wavy jamming for Victoria. And just with some pretty quick hits, separating the defense, picking up lead for Victoria.
That's Larage going off for a directional penalty.
Knockout by Lethal onto Jamie Dodger, but in doing so has given themselves a forearms penalty.
So
and is
we've only
reporting to the
got
box.
2 on the track.
Quite a few
There was a great hit out.
Victoria blockers heading to the bin for this jam.
Oh, Boop. We feel for you. Another star pass to Boop.
Bit of debate there between the blockers and the benchies for when to call it for Victoria. But the decision has yielded 4 points on that pass for Victoria, so that was a 12-point jam for them. 202 for Victoria Roller Derby, Perth Roller Derby on 27 points. And Victoria will go into this jam with one of their blockers in the box.
We've got Namazoom on the line for Perth and Gin and Jukes for Victorian Roller Derby.
The defense for Victoria split up and sort of sandwiched on either side of that Perth wall. This has now become a power jam as Gin and Jukes reports to the penalty box for a cut track.
What can Perth make out of this
That means
advantage?
all eyes are on Namazoom. All of their blockers are focusing on their offense. Victoria's only job now is defense against that Perth jammer.
There we go. It is Namazoom with lead.
Big scuffle on track as Perth try to goat Barry there, keeping the pack with them, but Barry's made it out. And the 3 Victoria blockers left on track, facing off against 4 Perth offense skaters right now. But with Victoria's jammer, Gin and Jukes back on track.
We've got Wazer Thorson and Wheels McCoy as a lovely tripod at the back there. And Modern Warfare coming out of the box trying to do offense. But
The pack
Gin and
has
Jukes-
turned into like a giant slinky just stretching out as far as it can. And now elasticing back together as the skaters struggle to keep pack.
Points on the board for Namazoom. Oh. Beautiful little attempt at an apex jump, but got bumped out. And another 3 points for Perth. So 7 on the jam there. And Jin and Jukes picked up 4.
We are approaching an official review from Black. They have called an official review from that last jam. How do we figure out what it is? One of us should go in to see what it's about. Okay, Manu? I won't remember what it is.
Perth have asked for an official review. The officials are currently talking. They are requesting a cut track on Jin and Jukes around that outside of turn 1, saying that toe stop was out and they gained position. We'll see what the officials say in a few minutes. Few minutes? Few moments.
Few moments, who knows?
Moments.
Depending on the complexity of it.
It looks like there will be no cut call. So Perth will not retain their official review, and nobody is in the box.
Fatality lining up jam for Perth, going against Pavey, lining up to jam for Victoria. Jam is on. Modern Warfare creating a great bit of nice big sweep for Pavey to take that lead for Victoria.
Modern Warfare taking out the brace from Perth, and Pavey just smashing through the other 2 blockers of that tripod.
Massive chase down by Logie on Pavey there. Bit of a boof out the front of the pack.
Another star pass there to Boop, not even trying to put the star in anymore.
I think Pavey might have called that just to save Boop from having to wrestle with the helmet covers, you know.
Hey, you don't need to put it on unless you're actually going to score points, so if they call it off.
Yes. Comatose jamming for Perth. Vanessa Shredgrave jamming for Victoria. Jam is on. Massive offensive sweep by Victoria that is successful in getting their jammer out, who has now picked up lead. Victoria has lead. Seeing that wall go from everyone's sort of physically separated but clearly strategically same page in their offensive moves, and then just a united wall front for their defense. Very impressive change from O to D, nice and quick.
Some nice reforming from Perth here. They've got Vanessa Shredgrave stuck at the back.
Comatose pushing against Biceptual up that front, just waiting for that out of play call. And there it is. They have made their initial.
Thorson, Teo, Wazer. Excellent tripods.
Just a nice little sort of derby Easter egg is looking up and seeing the jam refs do their nice little nods to the scorekeepers, confirming that the points collected, the points noted on the scoreboard. It just looks really cool. Gin and Jukes skating, jamming for Victoria. Very fast run up that outside line, almost went out, but it's now collected lead for Victoria. Lorage doing some excellent one-on-one blocking against Jamie Dodger, the Perth jammer.
Ooh, very nice from Jamie Dodger there, pulling the Victoria tripod to the inside and forcing the Victoria jammer out. Very smart strategy.
Out of play call at the front has given Gin and Jukes 4 points. Skating around, trying to get more points again.
That was
a
some
big,
lovely one-on-one there from Storm.
nice big face-off by them.
It's always a little bit scary when you've got a jammer coming straight at you. And another great hit from Storm there to bump Gin and Jukes out.
Modern Warfare swapping from offense to just very quickly snagging that jammer on their way out the front of the pack. So Perth jammer, Jamie Dodger, fighting against a very strong Victoria 3 wall.
Logie and Boop and Peacock also with a great tripod. These walls are amazing.
These walls are amazing. That's a penalty on Logie for Perth.
That was absolutely a moment of, I know what I did, I'm going. I belong in the box. I'm not even waiting for the call.
Yes. No argument from me. I did a bad and I own it.
High fives all around. There were 12 points on the jam for Victorian in that last jam, bringing them to 234, and Perth roller derby on 34. Tiptoeing on the line was Pavey.
Very swift revolting by this front wall of Perth's. And so Perth really holding their own against Pavey.
Doing such a good job of avoiding that offense or reforming around that offense.
We are now looking at a power jam for Perth as Pavey reports to the box for a penalty. That gives Victoria all a focus of just defense right now. Their sole focus being to stop Namazoom getting out the front of that pack.
Perth reassessing the situation to decide how to help their jammer.
That looks like a forearms penalty call on Perth skater 88. Thorson reporting to the box.
Pavey back on the track.
Bit of spaghetti happening at the back there. Pavey pausing for just a little rest on track there, only to get through. Bit of a clip of the wheels, and they are through, making their initial.
Namazoom is still hoping to get lead.
Two big dukes by Pavey has reaped 4 points for Victoria. At this point, Victoria is just all eyes on Namazoom. That was a long jam for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
At the end of it, Perth Roller Derby sitting on 34 points. That jam at Victoria Roller Derby League picked up 4 and are now on a total of 238 points.
Vanessa Shredgrave on the line for Victorian and fatality for Perth.
Shreds is lead. We need a slow-mo cam to show that, just to be able to replay that beautiful footwork by Shreds.
So many
Big drawback about to happen on fatality. And a corky in the ribs to Shreds just then, by the way they were holding their ribs then.
But positive feedback from their team, cheering them on.
Destruction penalty called on Hells Yeah for Victoria. And we have now seen Fatality make their initial.
Almost a call off there.
Lovely communication between Victoria Jammer, Vanessa Shredgrave and the bench there. I can hear from my position, I can hear the bench saying late, and then at the last moment call, timing it really nicely for as that jammer was about to pass the first Victoria blocker. We're just consistently seeing really nice, friendly-natured jammers lining up, high-fiving, smiling together on that jammer line. This time it's Gin and Jukes for Victoria and Comatose for Perth. Signature inside line take by Gin and Jukes just then. Bit of coordinated offense by Hells Yeah too, helping Gin and Jukes very swiftly get through that inside line.
And then back up to the front, immediately back to defense.
We've had a star pass for Perth.
Unfortunately, Thorson did not get out and is now stuck themselves. One more to beat for Thorson, but got bumped out.
Comatose taking a seat in the box for a penalty. And so Thorson still working hard, trying to get themselves through the pack to complete that initial pass. We have Perth Jammer Comatose, they are now a blocker. Perth blocker Comatose standing just as Gin and Jukes Victoria Jammer has called that jam off.
Victorian Roller Derby currently on 257 with Perth Roller Derby 34. Both teams have set up quite far up. That's different. For most of the game, they've set up much closer to the jam line. Ooh.
Some big tumbles taking place from some of the Perth blockers up front there. And a bit of a sorry about that from Pavey as she picks up lead for Victoria. Hells Yeah taking a place in the box to serve a penalty for forearms.
Some lovely passive offense there from Modern Warfare. Jammy Dodger still fighting.
And a gorgeous whip from Jammy Dodger, using it to get around that outside line, and they have now successfully completed their initial pass.
Big hit, but still got up and out of the pack.
Phenomenal skating by both teams for that jam.
So many smiles on the track. Derby is serious business, but we have fun too. Fatality is out the front against Bisexual and Barry.
Vanessa Shredgrave is your lead jammer for this jam, taking up lead for Victoria.
That's a forearms for Wheels McCoy. Reporting to the box. Cooper and Tio. And I can't see the third blocker in that wall, but successfully holding Vanessa Shredgraves for quite a while.
Big drawback happening on Shredgraves now. Both jammers spending due amount of time in the sad place against really strong walls. Trying to avoid getting hit out because it's just those big drawbacks that are really, really disheartening when you're a jammer. And Victoria jammer Vanessa Shredgrave calling it off upon advice from the bench and ending jam 16 on 273 points. Perth roller derby, 34 points.
Less than 3 minutes left on the clock. Aw, jammer love.
Jammer love. Comatose and Gin and Jukes jamming for Perth and Victoria respectively. Gin and Jukes takes lead for Victoria.
Very scrappy pack.
And a nice swift exit from the pack by Comatose. Beautiful exit by Comatose, but not quite quick enough to claim points there as Victoria roller derby jammer Gin and Jukes calls it off.
Perth might not have gotten points there, but they were successful in getting Victorian to call it off sooner.
Exactly.
We have a team timeout for Perth. This is their last timeout, and they also no longer have their official review, so no more time stoppage for Perth after this.
It's a strategic time to call that timeout. Less than 2 minutes left on the game clock. Use it to just get your breath, make a plan, and wind down a spectacular game of roller derby. Familiar face-off between Comatose for Perth and Pavey for Victoria. I don't think we've seen a faster lead called than that jam just then. Pavey getting lead about 10 feet from the jammer line. Facing a 4-wall, facing off 4 defense blockers.
Oh, now we're down to 3. Wazer in the box, but Pavey is stuck in that seam.
You'd like to think that a quarter fewer blockers would make it easier, but it's still solid work against that 3 wall there for Pavey.
Teo and Cooper just
There's a bit of melee going on there, and Comatose using it to make their way fairly farther forward. And a beautiful star pass. Thorson, now your jammer for Perth. Pavey through, calling it off. That was an 8-point jam for Victoria, bringing them to a total of 283 points on the scoreboard. Perth roller derby on 34. And we've got a lovely surprise with Boop jamming for Perth.
Ooh, Boop. Against Vanessa Shredgrave for Victorian.
I think the real MVP of this game is already the Perth crowd, because they shout the loudest for Perth.
That was a little bit of an interesting start there.
Yeah, so quick removal of the star by Perth. So now your jammer is Fatality.
Giving up the opportunity to be lead. But a drawback for Perth. Storm. Storm and Peacock.
I think that decision has made a bit of chaos for both teams, but Shreds picks up lead for Victoria. There's this beautiful synergy going on between Lethal and the Rage this game, where one will hit off and maybe they go out, but their buddy is ready for the drawback right away. Big call off by Shredgrave, and we are looking at an unofficial score of 287 Victoria Roller Derby League, 34 for Perth Roller Derby. So once again, when we see that tick over after a little bit of deliberation,
So we now have confirmed final score: Victorian Roller Derby 287, Perth Roller Derby 34.
thanks for joining us for another phenomenal game of roller derby. Skating's
Thank you
gonna do
to
their
everyone
thing.
who tuned in on the live stream, everybody who is here at the factory. We've got a sausage sizzle on.
Thanks for joining us, folks. That's the end of Tri-State Showdown. We look forward to a fantastic year of derby with you. And have a great Sunday.
Signing out.